Now we have the news of this night, and we begin with new information. Criminal charges filed tonight against the ex-con who ran away from a car crash that killed a husband and his wife, his pregnant wife, in Brooklyn. Their child died the next day. The charges against Julio Acevedo, including criminally negligent homicide and vehicular manslaughter. Eyewitness News reporter Jim Dolan outside Criminal Courts Building in downtown Brooklyn with the latest. Jim?
Bill, Julio Acevedo in a fifth-floor holding cell at this hour, awaiting arraignment on charges that could, with his background and at his age, put him in prison for the rest of his life. Acevedo is charged with, among other things, vehicular manslaughter that caused the death of a child. After not seeing him at all for several days, suddenly we saw an awful lot of Julio Acevedo today. Tonight, he was led out of the 78th precinct in handcuffs. This morning, he was led into and out of the Lehigh County Courthouse in Pennsylvania, where he had surrendered to police yesterday. We saw him all day, but his lawyer says she wasn't given a chance to talk with him.
I sat there for 2.5 hours and waited. As pleasant as pie, but when I requested to see my client, they denied me. So how do I feel about that? I don't think it's right. I think my client deserves to see his attorney. I think he deserves to know somebody was there with him. He shouldn't have to wait till he gets to arraignments later on, God knows when.
Julio Acevedo is the lone suspect in the deaths of a young couple in Williamsburg and their infant son after an accident on Sunday morning. Police say he was driving the car that caused the accident and then fled. He appeared to acknowledge leaving that accident in an exclusive telephone interview with Eyewitness News reporter Sarah Wallace this week.
I was speeding, trying to get away because I was scared from someone shooting at me. So when I came down Kent Avenue, as I was driving, that cab driver came out of nowhere. I couldn't stop.
Acevedo is charged now with 1 count of vehicular manslaughter that caused the death of a child passenger, 3 counts of leaving the scene of an accident, and 3 counts of criminally negligent homicide. Tonight, as police inside the 7-8 precinct prepared him for arraignment, Acevedo must surely have known that the freedom of the last few days on the run was being replaced now with a long stretch of confinement. Not much will come out of this arraignment. Acevedo will hear formally the charges against him, and he will probably learn what his next court date is. He will have plenty of quiet time in jail to consider his defense. In Brooklyn, Jim Dolan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.